जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲು
Hyderabad Bhattacharjya Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो.
Welcome back to Cricbuzz Live. During a pre-match show, we talked about the fact that, Delhi have their backs against the wall, but despite that, they've showed intent by winning the toss, choosing to bat first. They've shown bravery, but I think we didn't see too much of that bravery, that intent when the batting innings started. Delhi playing in Hyderabad, playing the 7th match of the season, putting on 144 on the board for the loss of 9 wickets. Manish Pandey, the top scorer, with 34 of 27 balls. Akshar Patel with a runner ball, 34. And Mitch Marsh chipped in as well. And then, it was a superb all-round bowling display from all of Hyderabad's bowlers, but especially from Washington Sundar and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, picking up 5 wickets amongst the two of them. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. I'm Anubhav Jain, back with the dashing duo, Joy, Dooley. Hyderabad's bowling performance, splendid, a good comeback, and pretty much everyone chipping in.
Everyone chipping in, but especially they'd be delighted to see Bhuvaneshwar in form. We've been speaking about the fact that he's not quite in form, but the 2 deliveries on which he got the wickets, one, just the movement away to get the outswingers going, there's some movement away, and then coming back with that beautiful Yorker swing in the end. So I think both bowling at the death and in front, and if that last ball hadn't gone for 4, that was a spectacular, 7 in 4 overs, it just became 11, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was crazy good, wasn't it? Good to watch up front. Just a little bit of swing, and we put the mockers on Phil Salt, didn't we, with that first one straight through to Klaassen. So
that was Dooley's curse.
Yeah. Sorry, Phil. Sorry about that. Look, he'll come good at some stage, I'm sure. But brilliant. I thought they did really well getting Washy back in that in the mix as well. But Bhuvi's spell, 4 off the last ball to just get into double figures is exceptional. We asked for, the strength of Hyderabad has time and time again been their Indian bowling attack. And he was back to his best tonight. So, and at decent pace as well. So that was really good to see. And that's been, the reason why they've only let Delhi score 144.
Back to his best and 16 dot balls as well. We spoke about the fact that he's been picking up wickets in the power play, but he's been going for runs. But today he picked up wickets as well as, and was very economical as well. Along with Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Washington Sundar back in form. He went wicketless before the start of this game, but then ended up picking 3 in 1 over, in a second over. As they say, when it rains, it pours, and it certainly poured for Washington today.
No, absolutely. I think once he got the first wicket and then Sarfraz went and hit the shot, but in the end, what was Aman Singh trying to do? What was Aman Khan trying to do? I just do not understand what he was trying. Second ball, he's playing against the turn. I don't know what he was trying to hit, but that's the point, that very often you bowl well enough, but you don't get the wickets. Yeah. And then sometimes you just put up the innocuous delivery and somebody hits your wicket. Yeah. And then did you see Washington Sundar's fielding in the deep? That was one of the best throws I've ever seen. Yeah. And the run out was caused because he fumbled. So he fumbles and they think there's a chance for a 2, and then he throws
Never run on a misfield. Yeah. Never run on a misfield. The old standard sort of description. But there was some average batting, but some good bowling as well. I think he used the drift well coming around the wicket. He just... Sometimes you bowl well and you don't get wickets. Sometimes you bowl poorly and you do get wickets. I don't think he bowled poorly tonight. I think he bowled really well. But he was gifted 1 in particular. I thought there was a lack of match awareness from Aman in that situation. But, we did see the odd ball turn. We saw the odd ball keep low. I'm not going to judge too harshly on this 144 just yet. And you got 2 teams who aren't sure how to win. 2 teams who are searching for 2 points. Yeah. And we could end up with one of those really tight, close, sort of low-scoring encounters here with the way that surface is played. I think it's played a little worse than what we initially thought, and perhaps what the guys on the ground thought initially when they did their pitch report as well. So, decent for the seamers and a little bit of turn for the spinners. So it might not be quite as easy as we think.
Yeah, and we saw the genesis of Delhi's collapse with Warner's wicket, because Mitch Marsh and David Warner were looking good, and Washington Sundar ended up picking his crucial wicket. And so that sort of was the turning point, because, it was the beginning of the end for Delhi, or the beginning of that middle order collapse that we saw.
Yeah, David Warner was 1 from 9 at one stage, and we were 1 from 8, and we were sort of yelling at the television again, not again, David, you've got to get on with it. And then he got a couple of boundaries away, but still only 21 from 19, so still only just a little bit better than a runner ball. and going across the line once too often brought about the dismissal. I just think, losing Salt up front, Mitch Marsh tried to be that aggressor, but then Warner's innings, or 21 off 20 in the end it was, sorry. So it just, again, he's failed to get going and nobody's really got going at all. Decent partnership between Manish Pandey and Aksa. I think they summed up the situation. There was a little bit of match awareness about that. You might look at it and think, well, 34 off 27, 34 off 34, but it's kind of the innings they had to play, I think, Joy, because they had to find a way to get to 140, 150, which is possibly enough.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we were saying. That 180 is out of the window. This is not a 180 track. Had they got to 150, 155, it looks competitive on this surface. In fact, that's the interesting one. Bit of swing up front, but after that, when Mayank Markanday, though he went for 34 finally, when he was not pitching the ball up, when he was not giving them any pace on the ball, they were finding it very difficult to time the ball. And that's one thing. They have two really good spinners. You have Akshar Patel coming in there, and you have one more really good spinner. You have Kuldeep. And then you have the opportunity of throwing in Lalit Yadav and saying, bowl some off spin. So they bowled 9 overs of spin. Markram bowled 1. The two spinners bowled 4 each. Washington and Markanday bowled 4 each. So there is an opportunity out there. The door is not totally closed, but it'll be very interesting to see how they play this out. Also see the number of bowlers they've used. 7 bowlers, and interestingly, Umran Malik just for two overs, Markram for 1. They've really moved the bowling around a bit.
Absolutely. You talked about the fact that 180 was out the window on this track, and with that, our predictions were out the window as well. But you saw 9 overs of spin, and I'm guessing Delhi's going to deploy something similar in terms of strategy in the second innings, given how the pitch is behaving.
Yeah, and I just go back that partnership as well. What I think what Delhi were thinking at one stage was Yash Doull. They had him padded up, and they were thinking about an impact player as a batter, which. Sometimes you might have to do if your team are really, really struggling. So that partnership and the way that they summed it up, I think, Aksa, in that partnership was just, we need to bat a little bit deeper to stop using our impact play because another spinner might be crucial in this game later on in the piece. So that was another really good thing about that partnership. I think just delaying the wickets falling and also allowing Delhi to not use another batter as their impact substitute. And maybe now they can bring in another spin bowling option. And, it might prove that the winning of the game. When you look through that lineup, Lalit Yadav can come in.
Praveen Dubey as well.
Dubey as well. So there are 2 options there if they want to go down that way instead of going Mukesh Kumar.
Absolutely. And, Chetan Sakaria is one of those bowlers who can bowl those slower ones that can turn to be very effective on a slow surface that's gripping a fair bit.
Actually, to be honest with you, I felt that the way they two of them batted, I mean, Akshar Patel has been Delhi's best Indian batsman. And he's batting out of position at 7 because, they have no other place to put him. And Manish Pandey, I thought they batted really sensibly. Yeah. Had there been slightly better game awareness and running between wickets in the last 2 overs, this should have been a 155 total. Their communication in running between the wickets was worse than a Tinder first date. They just were not listening to each other. Yeah. God knows what they were doing out there. Yeah. Go, come, let's go. Okay, Netflix and chill. No, let's stay in the restaurant. I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
They're just trying to sort of. I mean, they've got bowling options, haven't they? They've got enough seam bowling options, I think, to be able to bring another spinner into the mix if they want to. When you look at Norkia, Ishant, Ripple Patel, Aman Khan, bowl a little bit of seam up if they want.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they've got, obviously got the 2 spinners in Akshar and Kuldeep. So there is an option. I mean, Mitch Marsh, if he's fit to bowl as well, another seam bowling option. So I can see Safraz popping out here. And I can see another spin bowling option coming in if that's the way they want to go.
So despite chasing 145, which might seem like a middling target, maybe a low total, relatively speaking, on this pitch, you never know. You might be in for a surprise. But Delhi, overall, do you think that the lack of game awareness that we saw in this game sums up the season so far? A side that's not used to winning, just won one game.
They almost made a hash of the last match as well. Had Kulwant Khejrolia not bowled that no ball in the last over, they were done. Yeah, they were done. They were literally snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Architects of their own downfall.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. This is not, but while bowling, they have nothing to lose. And I think similarly, I don't think SRH is a very confident side. Yeah. Get a couple of wickets early, get Harry Brooks out early, get Markram early, and they will struggle as well.
Right. And speaking of their batters, you don't really see too many of them in good form. Harry Brook looked in fine fettle against Kolkata, but that was more like an aberration because we haven't quite seen him perform. So they will have their backs against the wall, and despite the fact that they're chasing 145, they will be under pressure, won't they?
They've all only had one score. That's the thing. When I look at Tripathi, Agarwal had a 40, mid-40s score. Harry Brook with his 100s, the only score he's had. Tripathi with that 70-odd not out is the only score he's had.
Yeah.
So, and they've all been in different games, so they've not put it together.
Right.
And that's been the concern. Markram is a key, massive key for them. But if you put a side that's struggling for points and struggling to know how to win, you put them under pressure early, inside that power play, have them 2 down for 40, 45, something like that, inside that first 6 overs, ask questions of that middle order, get the spinners into the game then, and you just never know. I don't know, I got a feeling. I had a great feeling about Salt as well, so we threw that one off the table, didn't we? But I just got a feeling sometimes these low-scoring encounters, we might be in for a nice tight one here.
Absolutely. It's one of those tricky totals. You know, you're chasing 145 on a difficult pitch, Joy. What do you reckon Delhi's approach should be? Oh, Hyderabad's approach should be, the batting second, Hyderabad's approach should be while chasing such a total?
Look, they have to go for the first 6. You have to go because if you set up the first 6 and get 60, 65 out, the game's over. It's very difficult then for Delhi to recover because they just will not have enough runs in the board. So they've just got to play. They will also reckon that their best chances against the fast bowlers where the ball's coming on. And they have the kind of batsmen who can play in these conditions. I wouldn't be surprised though that if they see the Delhi could throw an Aksar very early just to disrupt things because right now Delhi has to do the running. They have to do something different. If these people, if they bat through, any team will get 145. So you've got to take wickets.
Yeah, if they bring another spinner in, I'd like to see Akshar up front. If they don't bring another spinner and they only have the 2 options, then you might just have to hold Akshar back just a little bit, maybe the 3rd, 4th over. But if they bring another spin bowling option in as their substitute impact player, then I'd like to see Akshar bowl the first or the second.
Absolutely, and that might be a very effective ploy against someone like a Harry Brook because he looked good against pacers when playing Kolkata, but he looked uncomfortable against KKR spinners, didn't he?
And you know what Akshar's like with that new ball. I mean, he bowls with it so often Test match cricket. It just, one will skid, one will hole, it's a horrible thing to face first up, and I think Harry Brook will feel very uncomfortable against it. So, yeah, I'd like to see it.
Absolutely. So, on paper, this might seem like a low total, especially given the high scores we've seen so far. But I think it's a match that hangs in the balance. What do you guys reckon? Who holds the edge going into the second innings?
Look, I'll still say it's Hyderabad's edge because 145 is not a huge total. But it's much closer than the total seems to indicate. That's what I'll say.
And what do you think the percentage breakdown is?
I mean, going into specifics, I'll still say it's 60-40 Hyderabad.
60-40.
Yeah.
Dooley, what do you reckon?
I'm a bit the same. I think it's probably a 60-40 Hyderabad game, but I still think there's a twist or 2 left in this game.
If you all say 60-40, then Control-C, Control-V. 60-40 for me as well. Your power play prediction, Dooley?
Well, I said 2 for 40 they need, so if I think Delhi can get the job done, I'll go 41.
41. After 6 overs?
47.
47, I'll say 44, standing in the middle. So, it might seem as if the wooden spoon currently belongs in Delhi's camp, but you never know. Who knows? They might just pass on the wooden spoon to Hyderabad at the end of the second innings. And speaking of the end of the second innings, we'll be back on your screen with Cricbuzz Live as soon as the game's done with Dooley as well as Joy. So we'll see you then.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೈ ಚೆನ್ನೈ
Hyderabad Bhattacharjya Express Polo Station Netaji Bhavan. Cricbuzz